Hello, dear students. It's very nice to see you again. In this time, I will do some questions to my colleague Janet Gigan-Martin, and I will start doing it now. Janet, would you please answer me the following questions? The first question is, what were the steps taken when establishing the environmental statistics in Jamaica?
Hello, Alda, and thanks for asking me that question about Jamaica's steps to um, create an environment statistics unit in Jamaica. We were first contacted by the UNSD asked to ask us to complete a questionnaire on environment statistics, and we were unable to complete any of the questions. So my director at the time looked for assistance from overseas, and we found out that the Swedish International Development Agency, SIDA, was offering to help countries, and they had already done it in Belize. So we applied for help, and we eventually were accepted. A consultant came to Jamaica along with other experts from Statistics Sweden over a period of about 2.5 years. And we did a process of visiting most of the agencies that were responsible for environment statistics. We coordinated a lot with the National Environment Protection Agency, who are responsible for quite a bit of the statistics that go into environment regulation, etc. During this process, we published a couple of reports. We did a state of the environment report, uh, two surveys on households' experience of environment, awareness, I should say, household awareness of environmental issues. We did a household expenditure survey, and this was the basis for the establishment of the unit at the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. 3 persons were trained during this period in environment statistics. There was a visit to Statistics Sweden, where we looked at the process of completing environment statistics in Sweden, which was quite extensive and which we couldn't replicate. And there was also training in environment at another visit. And that was the main thing. We established some connections with stakeholders, which have lasted for a while. Of course, things have changed over the years, and that was, I think, the main steps that we took. Really meeting with persons and explaining the information that we wanted. At the same time, we were also involved with creating with the UNSD when they were working on the framework for the framework for the development of environment statistics 2013. We also collaborated with other institutions, international and local, such as UNEP, ECLAC, CARICOM was very important for us during this process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Janet. The second question is, what were the main challenges when establishing environmental statistics in Jamaica?
Challenges in establishing environment statistics in Jamaica. Thank you very much for that question, Alda. As we know, statistics on the environment are still not as popular as our economic and social statistics, and we also find that environment statistics covers many areas. These areas are vast and varied, looking at from forestry to sea level rise, climate change, disasters, and so on. Now, there are a few specialized surveys or modules because of the cost of these. So that is really what we would really need to expand collection of environment statistics. These surveys can be household surveys, it can be establishment surveys, and they can be modules in another survey or a specific survey. They can be questions in a census, but as I said, these costs are quite high. Now, administrative data is often the least expensive method to collect data on the environment. However, data collected by these agencies often don't meet the needs of environmental reporting, as the data may not be in the required format. For example, they may be databases or in PDFs. The questions may not be exactly how we would want it for environmental reporting. We also find that data collection, even when we have alliances with other agencies, can be time consuming, and agencies may not want to add to the burden of data collection. Another challenge we find is maintaining contact with staff dedicated to environment statistics and the data collection in stakeholder agencies. Staff turnover at these agencies may make it difficult to establish alliances with new staff members who may not be aware of previous relationships. We also find that getting persons to work in environment statistics is not that we have difficulty finding experienced persons, of course, and also trained persons. So these persons who come into environment statistics need to be trained.
Thank you very much, dear Janet. Let's go to question number 3. How success were collaboration efforts?
That is another good question, Alda, because data collection, even when there are alliances, can be time consuming, as I said before, and agencies may not want to add to this burden of data collection that they may already have, or they may not have established methods of collecting data as yet. They may not want to go into this added cost and burden to collect this data. However, I would say that despite this, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica has been able to produce regular environment statistics reports over the years. We have often been asked to participate in workshops and meetings with local stakeholders responsible for environmental data, as well as with regional and international agencies. And this has allowed the Institute to keep up with environmental matters worldwide and to be recognized for its work in environment statistics. This does not mean, however, that there are not difficulties still, but environment statisticians need to be persistent and vigilant. Data can often be found in reports and websites of agencies. There may be instances where agencies have the data, but we're not aware that it could be used for environment statistics and sometimes would not share it with the National Statistics Office. So we need to look for these data sources outside the liaisons made with agencies. I would say on the whole that the collaboration efforts that have been made in Jamaica have been successful, but of course, more needs to be done in the future.
Thank you very much, dear Janet. This is our last question. How can the countries or statistical office can improve their environmental statistics?
Well, Alda, for countries to improve their work in environment statistics, at least one staff member needs to be dedicated to collecting and disseminating environment statistics where it's needed. Usually, this staff member would be located in the National Statistics Office, but that does not hold for all countries. It's also useful if the agency responsible for environment statistics can build strong relationships with data providers and continue to liaise with these stakeholders. While it may be difficult to maintain collection efforts when persons change jobs, it is important to have memoranda of understanding with these agencies in order to foster the continued alliances. The National Statistics Office should also participate in activities that are related to the environment and where they can meet persons who work with environment data, who work in the environment area, and where alliances can be formed. It's also important for the agencies to collaborate with regional and international agencies such as ECLAC, CARICOM, and the United Nations Statistic Division in order to strengthen environment statistics. These agencies can provide help to the statistical office in the area of training, methodology, and so on. Thank you very much, Alda.